Up with KREM begins now.
An incredible show of support last night as first responders and community members watched a procession transporting the fallen firefighters from Coeur d'Alene to the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office.
We have video from Department of Transportation cameras. The procession moved west on I-90 with people lining the overpasses to show respect to the fallen.
We want to say good morning and thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM as we continue to follow this tragedy out of Coeur d'Alene. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Nicole Hernandez. We have full in-depth coverage all morning long of this, and we'll have a live report in just a few minutes from our Brandon T. Jones. But first, we do need to talk a little bit about the forecast. Weather today, particularly hot, even compared to what we saw this weekend. So we have weather impact alerts on our radar for the next 3 days. We end up seeing things stay hot for a couple of days because of a ridge of high pressure. And the way it turns out is that we end up with high temperatures in the 90s, even upwards of 100 degrees for some spots. So take a look at this. 93 to 104, depending on where you are for today and tomorrow as well. Because of this, the National Weather Service has issued heat advisories for the bulk of our region. These hot temperatures sticking around and this heat advisory sticking around from 9 a.m. today until 9 p.m. tomorrow. As of right now, we're warm, sunny, hot already if you consider it for how early we are, 61 degrees right now.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact from I-90 and Freya at this hour. You can see traffic flows are moving great. Sometimes this area starts to be a little bit of a trouble spot as folks head into downtown Spokane, but right now we're off to a great start here on this Monday morning. We'll keep a close eye on traffic throughout the show. On Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. What started as a call for a grass fire on Canfield Mountain near Coeur d'Alene turned deadly as firefighters were met with gunfire on the mountain. The Kootenai County Sheriff calling what happened to the firefighters a total ambush, adding they had no chance when they arrived to the scene of the fire. We now know the alleged shooter was found dead with a weapon and cell phone nearby. But while law enforcement looked for the shooter, a shelter in place was issued for that area, and that has since been lifted. This morning, we do have Brandon T. Jones with us. A fire is still burning because firefighters, Brandon, were pulled back until that suspect was found. What are you seeing? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Well, that's exactly right. You mentioned that shelter in place has been lifted, but you can still see behind me very much active investigation is going. Firefighters are up the hill. Kootenai County Sheriff deputies have been coming and going throughout the entire morning. And speaking of that fire, that smoke, it still lingers here in the air, so you can smell it from miles away. But we do know it's still early into this investigation. What we do know, though, is that this all started around 1:30 p.m. yesterday afternoon. That's when those calls started to come in. Fire crews responding to a wildfire here on Canfield Mountain were shot while doing their job and serving their community. Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris described the shooting as a total ambush and saying the firefighters didn't have a chance. The two firefighters killed, one from Coeur d'Alene Fire Department, one from Kootenai County Fire and Rescue. And again, we do know another from Coeur d'Alene Fire Department is still in the hospital recovering. For hours, a shelter in place was issued to the area as law enforcement searched for the suspected shooter and man they believe started this fire. Sheriff Norris says they were briefed to neutralize the suspect and to eliminate the threat. He also shared he was in contact and getting information from the White House, from the FBI around 7:45 with the help of a cell phone signal. They located the suspect. Norris says they exchanged fire with the suspect who was pronounced dead, and whether that was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound or a bullet from law enforcement, that hasn't been confirmed just yet.
When you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire. So it's very, very difficult. Very difficult for drones or helicopters to see any individuals up there. So this was a total ambush, taken by surprise, and Yeah, it's unfortunate.
This is something that we don't train for. It's not something that we expect. It's not something our firefighters should have to deal with. In this situation, they were called to a grass fire, which is already something that we're very heightened and are anxious about this time of year. And they were doing everything the way that they were supposed to do it.
So extremely difficult circumstances to navigate. Again, it's still early in this investigation process. Names and information of both the victims and the suspect have yet to be released. And Norris did note, though, that nearly 300 law enforcement officers responded to this scene yesterday, including snipers and deployed helicopters. Again, once we learn any new details, any new information, we'll be sure to keep you updated across all KREM 2 platforms. But for now, live here in Coeur d'Alene, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Thank you, Brandon. Last night, firefighters, police, and other law enforcement from the inland Northwest lined the streets in Spokane as a procession brought the fallen from Coeur d'Alene. This is video from the Spokane County Medical Examiner's office as the procession reached its end.
That procession began at Kootenai Health, where firefighters were first taken after that shooting.
KREM 2's Caitlin Galloway was there last night and talked to people who showed up to support the firefighters.
It's a quiet night here at Kootenai Health. No large crowds, no large memorials, nothing like that. This is where those firefighters were taken after this tragic situation unfolded on Sunday afternoon. Although there's no memorial or large presence here, there were a lot of people that came out to the overpass. Exit 11 on I-90 specifically is where I talked with some members of the community who came out in support of some fire vehicles lined up on that overpass ready to join the procession that started here at Kootenai Health and moved on to Spokane. The members of that community showed up. They were waving American flags. They came to shake hands with the first responders to thank them for all that they do and to say that they're sorry for their loss. I spoke with a woman there who said this does not happen in her community. Really shattered their sense of community and safety here in Coeur d'Alene.
Well, I'm a Coeur d'Alene, Idaho native, so these are our neighbors and our sons and our brothers and our friends. And they put their lives on the line every day for us. And for them to come and try to put out a fire and get shot in Idaho, that doesn't happen up here.
I also talked with a hospital employee who didn't want to talk on camera, but did tell me that there was an honor walk for these firefighters in the ER. And it wasn't just the ER, it was all departments of the hospital that showed their support for these fire personnel. At Kootenai Health, Caitlin Galloway, KREM 2 News.
This morning, reaction continues to pour in from the community and officials. Idaho Governor Brad Little wrote on X, multiple heroic firefighters were attacked today while responding to a fire in North Idaho. This is a heinous direct assault on our brave firefighters. I ask all Idahoans to pray for them and their families as we wait to learn more. Teresa and I are heartbroken.
We will, of course, keep covering this all morning long. You can find a complete timeline of what happened right now on KREM.com. This started and lasted for most of yesterday afternoon into the evening. The full press conferences from the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office is also on KREM 2+. You can download and watch on your TV for free.
Developing this morning, in just a few hours, the Pac-12 could officially have a new member. Texas State is meeting this morning at 7:30 our time to approve a move to the Pac-12. So last season, the conference was left with just two members, Washington State and Oregon State, after all the other schools left for other conferences. To remain a top conference, the Pac-12 needs 8 football schools. Texas State would get them to that number. The Pac-12 sent an invite to Texas State on Thursday. The school has since been quiet since then. If Texas State accepts the invitation, the soonest it would join the Pac-12 would be the 2026-27 school year. We will be monitoring the meeting this morning and bring you any updates as we get them here on Up with KREM. CBS Sports was recently announced as the primary media partner for the new Pac-12. As a part of that partnership, all football and men's basketball games of the conference will air on the CBS network and on Paramount+. As for this season, KREM 2 and KSKN 22 are your spot for WSU football. 2 of the biggest games will air on KREM 2. 6 other WSU games will air on KSKN 22. Spokane is starting 2 new pedestrian and bicycle improvement projects this morning, and the project will add buffered and protected bike lanes, widened sidewalks, and a new signal at the Lincoln and Broadway intersection.
So Lincoln Street will be closed from Boone to Cinto Avenue for this construction. The intersections of Lincoln and Malin, as well as Lincoln and Broadway, will also be closed for up to 2 weeks. They won't be closed at the same time, though. The city has not told us exactly when each intersection will close, but they say drivers should be ready for slower traffic and delays. You will still be able to get through the construction to get to local residential and business areas. Overall, construction will be happening into September. Also, West Maxwell Avenue will be closed to build bike lanes and improve crosswalks. West Maxwell Avenue between Pettit Drive and Walnut Street will have reduced reduction speeds, so things will be moving slower. Construction will be happening here through October.
Senators debated early into the morning, preparing for a vote on President Trump's big, beautiful bill. The final passage is expected in the next few days. This as the president is still dealing with some mixed response from the U.S.'s involvement in Iran's nuclear program. CBS News' Naomi Ruckham has the latest.
Madam President. In the very early hours of Monday morning, lawmakers wrapped up yet another debate session on President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill.
The Senate stands adjourned until 9 a.m.
A final vote on the package could come as soon as today, while Republicans rush to pass the budget bill by a self-imposed July 4th deadline. The legislation includes spending for border security, defense, and energy production, while cutting health care and nutrition programs, which Democrats strongly oppose.
This is a fraud that would make the Enron scammers blush.
This is a betrayal of the middle class.
New analysis from the bipartisan Congressional Budget Office finds the bill would increase the national deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion over the next decade. And 11.8 million more Americans could lose their health insurance. Saturday, the Senate advanced the bill after hours of delay. All but 2 Republicans voted in favor, including North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, who later announced he won't run for re-election after President Trump threatened to back a primary challenge against the senator. Overnight, the president switched gears briefly, posting on social media about the U.S.'s strike on Iranian nuclear sites earlier this month, writing, "I am not offering Iran anything, nor am I even talking to them since we totally obliterated their nuclear facilities." The president had said he would be talking with Iranian leaders this week, though officials there never confirmed this. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
That bill no longer includes a controversial proposal to sell millions of acres of public lands. It included more than 5 million acres in Washington state. Senator Maria Cantwell is praising the decision, saying in a statement, quote, "I am glad our special places will still be available for everyone." She and other lawmakers from the Pacific Northwest had previously criticized the proposal.